ages of rock and roll.
Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris Mallard. Thank you for joining me today. The answer to your question is Secular Feelist. It is a Galaxy Quest, the movie. There's a movie. That's what the picture's from. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great week so far. Let me turn off this noise here. Yes, Jesse Bear's got links for the FAFO. Please, if you can, go help out the FAFO. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I've got some things to talk about. Ryan's not going to be with us this morning. She's off doing things with Hub. For some reason, she thinks that surgery with Hubs is more important than hanging out with us. I don't know. So the movie could happen. I don't know. You know how women are. Anyway, good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. It's only Tuesday. The week is young. A lot of crazy things going on in the world. We're going to talk about some of those things here in just a bit. You know, we have a new parody commercial for the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't want to, we're going to watch it here though. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Do you have an atheist friend or family member who's a good person and you don't want to see them end up in hell? But now they're on their deathbed. Time is running out. They've been there for you and now you want to be there for them. But how can you save them from your all-loving, forgiving God and its eternal lake of fire? Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles. No more worries of loved ones meeting their resolution without absolution. Now you too can flourish your faith on the weak and helpless in their final moments. Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles are designed specifically for the weak and infirmed. Extra large type for failing eyes seeing their last. Deluxe editions come complete with a post-mortem Mother Teresa would have approved baptismal kit. Also available in heathen and heretic versions. Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles. Coming to a Walmart near you. All right, good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great week so far. Let me just kind of slow down. Whenever I was doing the intro, I had this noise binging in my ear. It was most annoying. Jesse Bear is doing a fundraiser for school projects for children. Let me do the reading here. In-person events this month in Pennsylvania, sidewalk chalk, peaceful rallies, that sort of thing. For FAFO, but they've also got the let me do this. Yeah, the Action Helps Children in School of Need. So yeah, go ahead and click the link button thing. They're on the same link, right? Yes, go ahead and do the thing. Help them out doing what they're doing, because it's, us on the left and the people of reason don't have the big money bags like the ones on the right do. So if you can, go help her out. Appreciate it. Good morning, Big Zebra. Cool name. It's been a day or three. I think, Randy's here too. Good morning, KCA Randy. Ryan is, Hubs is having surgery. She's waiting for him in the park.
Fine again.
Okay, I fat fingered that one. 1,000 apologies. Yes, I screwed that up. But yeah, I reached over there to get a thing. God slaps for you, or Ghost slaps for you. That's a cool name. Better than I misread anyway. Ghost slaps for you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the damnation. Yeah. Sorry about that. Hello there. That was my Ryan George impression. Oh, that's a good one. Ambush State says, I would want my spouse with me too. Ryan, you're doing there. Oh yeah. She's technically doing the right thing. You know how it is technically. But actually she is doing the right thing because she's here with us in the chat. I don't know if you noticed, somebody in the chat earlier said, I hope he makes it through just fine. She's like, well, he's insured. So if he's not, it's okay. That's my girl, Ryan. Good morning, Ryan. Carrie Ann Crosser, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Ambushed Apostate. Yeah, she's doing all the right things. She, juggling many things. In fact, many things. Dade Murphy is here this morning. Good morning, Dade Murphy. How are you doing? She's not here to do the excuse me. So excuse me is the best you're going to get out of me, unfortunately. So sorry. But good morning, Dade. Thank you for joining us. Yes, the damn family. Kelly is here. Good morning, Kelly, the Detroit atheist queen. Thank you for joining me. Sapien Cephalopod. is here again this morning. Thank you all. I tell you, it has been a very interesting week. We've kind of shifted. Last week we made the shift really from religion primarily to politics primarily. You can't really not. They're now so intertwined, Christian nationalism and Trump. So it's kind of a hard thing. So I'm going to try for, like Friday, we're going to have Steve on. Man, there we go. It's me. I knew it was going to happen. So we're going to have those kinds of things on. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Kelly Laughlin is here. Seth is here. Brent A is here. Good morning, everybody. So, oh yeah, awesome. So there've been a lot of crazy things going on in the world right now. Diana Carrillo is in the chat. That's crazy. Carrillo, probably Carrillo. Diana, good morning. But right now the conservatives are trying to gerrymander Texas, and the liberals, the Democrats, the Democrats have fled the state, and now the conservatives are calling for the arrest of the liberals, and Donald Trump is calling for the arrest of Chuck Schumer, I believe, the investigation and arrest of. They're now starting to look. I have an article up here. The DOJ is launching a grand jury investigation. I'm gonna hit that damn button again if I ain't careful. The DOJ is launching a grand jury investigation into the Russiagate conspiracy allegations. The Russiagate is they call the hoax Obama doing some sort of investigation into Trump. So they're going after Obama and members of his administration too. These are all things that the Democrats should do when we get power back. Absolutely. This is a blueprint for what we should do. They're lining it out for us. Fat fingers for justice. That's right. Hugs to Kelly. Imlit, good morning. Hello, Texan and newcomer Imlit. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show, The Damnation. Normally I have a co-host, Ryan. She's normally with me, but she's not here. She's off doing stuff with her husband, goofing around. But thank you for joining us. Colin Weeks is here. We go. Your secular worldview collapses again. Wow. That's a way to kick in the door. How exactly? I mean, you can tell me how it's going to collapse again. I'm loving to hear how our secular worldview is collapsing. Yes, the Talibanjicals. That's right. Casey, Randy. Brian Coltastic. No, he's having a cysto and depends on. So he's wearing Depends. Did I read that right? No, I'm kidding. They're looking for something, and it depends on what they find. So we're rooting for him. Way to go, Hubs. When Democrats get power again, that won't happen for at least, it doesn't seem that way. I don't know about 100 years, but it sure doesn't seem like. But, do you care at all that it's a fascist authoritarian dictatorship? Does that matter to you? Does it matter the death of the United States? Are you a patriot at all concerning the actual words of the founding fathers? Or are you just some sort of sycophantic right-wing suck-up, some bootlicker who wants a fascist dictatorship, who worships things like Hitler and Stalin and stuff like that? Pick a side, man. And, I got to be honest. We got to be honest. The liberals are not exactly, they're not my favorite people either. They're just closer in ideology to me than the conservative. That's kind of all, because I'm a progressive, by the way. See, I get that. Gannibal 21st. Good morning. Is this going to be a DNCC channel? No more atheist conversations. Gannibal, we're going to talk politics and atheism. Yeah, religion, because they are intertwined. Right now, there's a theocracy being imposed upon our country. The Supreme Court is a bunch of Catholics or whatever. They're Christians. Not all of them, obviously, just the ones in power now. And they are forcing their theology on us. Right now, Donald Trump is selling out the American people to get votes from Christians. They've gone so far as they used to have like just the faith office. Now they have the anti-Christian discrimination office, not anti-religion discrimination office, not, anti-free thing, nothing. It's anti-Christian specific. So, yeah. So that's my thinking. And it is a morning show. We do normally try to keep it pretty light. We joke around a lot. Sometimes we stay on topic. Sometimes we don't stay on topic. So, yeah. Let's see. The bills down here in Texas that have been trying to pass are wild. That they're doing some ugly shit. The conservatives are literally trying to lock in power and just essentially remove the Democrats from power completely and just take over the government. A one-party system. That's exactly what they're going for. They would love to start arresting the liberals, the politicians on the other side, any of them, given any opportunity. And watch, they're going to start doing it. So, yeah. Been predicting it because they are fascist dictators. And, Donald Trump is already one of the topic of the show yesterday is he destroying our democracy through Christianity, is because he is preparing to run for a third term. You would be absolutely shitting yourself marching in the streets, burning his effigy if Obama had tried to run for a third term. And yet, whenever it's your fascist president, all of a sudden they don't seem to mind. But he's literally attacking the First Amendment of the Constitution, the Second Amendment. Well, not the Second Amendment yet. That'll come later. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution. He's got his own Bible, and it eliminates like 11, everything up above from 11th Constitution, women's right to vote, black people's right to freedom, all these things. This is Christian nationalism. Donald Trump is doing all these things to suck up to the Christians. He's like I said, he's got the anti-Christian bias office. Then just last week, or this week, was it this week or last week, where he wrote out some sort of memo saying, encouraging government employees to reach out to their fellow employee and talk to them about Christ or their faith. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about Donald Trump. And if you don't like it, you can go the fuck somewhere else. Isn't that fun? That's fun. You can also hit the thumbs down button on the way out. It helps the metrics. If you support Trump, I got no respect for you. At this point, none. I don't care what you think of me because, I know what you like. If you like that, then what you think of me doesn't matter. Man, I'm going to try this. Knuckle Levies. Good morning, Knuckle Levies. Thank you for joining us. The chat is rocking right along pretty good. I try to keep up sometimes I can't. Good morning, the Trusty Ape. Man, you are awesome. I haven't seen you in a day or three. I say you're awesome. Yes. Good morning, fellow heathens. M. Lit, nice to see you. No, please, we need to talk about the crazy shit he's done. Okay, who are we talking about this time? Sorry, man. Like I said, term limits. Let's see. Term limits were imposed by Republicans. We really need term limits. We really do. I think we do, especially for Congress. Don't you guys think that? Everybody can't. I think we got lefties and righties here in the chat. It's kind of weird to have both. Normally, we're just like, forgive me for the expression, an echo chamber. But we've got both here in the chat, and I think we could actually literally get both sides to agree that Congress and the Senate need to have term limits. Anybody disagree with that? Term limits suck, according to Kelly Laughlin. Yeah, but look the damage. Look at the sheer amount of damage done by McConnell alone. Two of those Supreme Court judges were him. He's the one who handed them to the conservatives, by denying them whenever the conservatives, anyway, that's a long story. But yeah, I'm for term limits. Get them out, all of them. One of the things though, generally, I think I'm for it. Maybe it would be better if we didn't necessarily have term limits, but sort of like a bar of measure where they have to do well to a certain measure in order to continue. I don't know. There's got to be a better way though. Lefty here. So you think term limits? I'm surprised that people would not be against term limits. Ryan says we need immediate and prudent changes to our government. That's right. You know, you could now call us un-American by saying our government needs to change. But no, I mean, we were saying that beforehand, but now our government has changed and it's gotten literally worse. We now, I mean, we have other countries that are referring to Donald Trump as an authoritarian dictator. I mean, it's just, you just can't get past it. The similarities. Donald Trump has spent more to create his own personal army than what the FBI, all these, I mean, billions and billions of dollars he's sunk into his own personal army called ICE. I mean, his own personal Gestapo. I don't think the Gestapo was that big, though. Kelly Laughlin, I would be more than willing to hop over to my office and discuss this. Yeah, I don't want to sit here and talk about term limits. That's not what I want the show to be about, Kelly. And part of the reason why I didn't invite you, no offense, was because I didn't want you to have to go through all the effort of getting up and going to your office to show on the show. You know, I mean, I know it's a pain for you, and I didn't want you to have to go through that. But yeah, I don't want the whole term. I don't want to sit here and debate your version why you think there shouldn't be term limits, as Donald Trump could sit here and rig the election one more time and stay in power even further. I just don't see why that's a good thing. I think the fact that he's going to try to overturn that is one more attack on the Constitution. So many different attacks on the Constitution. He's supposed to be upholding and defending it, but he's not, you know. John Hudson, good morning. Thank you for joining us, John. Yeah. Get money out of politics. Yeah, no, I really wish we could do that, you know. I think with term limits, make people that are not elected and have no responsibility to the voters running. Yeah, but I mean, with term limits, make people that are not elected have no. I don't even get that, Kelly. I don't want to argue with you about it. I mean, right now we've got people. We have term limits, and we have people who are absolutely no reason to be running our government. None at all. Even with term limits. I mean, it's just crazy in certain areas. It's just crazy. Get the money out, though. We can certainly agree on that. Good morning, Hiveside. Good morning, Bree. Thank you for joining us. I want to, before we get too far along, good morning, Rational Poet Jackie. I want to continue to shout out for our friend a couple of things. One is our FAFO to help supply us with the kiddos. I'm going to drop that link here again. I'm sure... there we go. Got that. And also in the description, I believe there's still the link to go help Kristen. If you're able to go help Kristen, best name ever. She's fantastic. So didn't want to forget those things. You know, Kelly, that is a good idea of going and doing a video on that. I just kind of think that, you know, one of the things, even regardless of whether we do term limits or not, regardless, I think there should be some actual qualifications before somebody should be able to fill an office. There should be some qualifications. Somebody should have some education or experience in that field in order to be, you know, I mean, right now we got a director of the FBI who is a fucking social media person. You know, I mean, Donald Trump has filled the U.S. government with completely unqualified people. A lot of them solely right-wing Fox News sycophants. And which is just disgusting. Most of them have no business being in public office at all. The government becomes run by the people that are not elected and cannot lose their jobs. Yeah, that's what you get without term limits is kind of what I thought we were getting. You know, at least with term limits, people get kicked out. Yeah. But here's one thing though. One thing though is, again, get the money out of politics. Money out of politics. I think we should do that. Big money out of politics. The other thing we should do is misinformation out of politics. If you run a political campaign and you spread misinformation in your advertisements, the candidate should go to jail. The candidate shouldn't pay a fine because that's just a rich man's get away with everything. The person who made the post, you know, maybe it's a misleading and misinformation post or some business like that who worked for the campaign, that person shouldn't go to jail necessarily. the person who's running for office should go to jail. Because no matter what, they would always use that other person, some poor person, somebody who's not that big person, for some patsy so they could spread as much information. No, I mean, there needs to be real consequences for the rich. And a fine is not a real consequence for the rich. So this is not an atheism show. Nico, it is an atheism show. It's also, I mean, you know, bye, Nico. If you're offended by left-wing politics and the support of left-wing politics and anti-Trump shit, I don't want you watching anyway. So when we got to remember, my friends who are in the chat, that not every atheist is liberal, is a conservative, is a progressive, is a person of reason, if you will. We have a lot of atheists who are conservatives, who will wear the armband, wear the hood, have no problem rounding up legal immigrants and putting them in prison camps. We have concentration camps. We have people who on the right who are atheists who will do that for nothing. Let's see. People who don't understand how religion and government are intertwined clearly don't belong here. Yeah, there just needs to be some rules. Caitlin Beyond, good morning. Nico, we can't only focus on atheist content anymore. Thank you, Caitlin Beyond. Oh my goodness, that is so true. Right now, Ryan is not here this morning, but Ryan, if you're new to the show, I have a co-host. Ryan normally does something called Theocracy Watch, and every day on this show, she is able to find a news article about somewhere in this country, some religious group is enforcing or trying to enforce their nutbaggery on us. Right? Every day she's able to come up with something. I myself, in fact, because she's not here today, have come up with a Theocracy Watch today. It was so easy. It didn't take anything. We have an Arizona appeals court they're trying in Arizona. They're fighting this notion to make it to where priests don't have to report certain things like child sexual assault, because religious people clearly don't want that reported, and religious people are trying to force that crap in Arizona. All over the country, Christian nationalism and Christians of all stripes are forcing their theocracy upon us. And they're using Donald Trump to do it. Donald Trump is giving them everything they want, because the next election, he's going to run and he's going to try to get that Christian vote. And why not? He gave them everything he wants. He's giving them, protecting them. At first, it was protection. If you're a person and if you're a Christian in the government, feel protected. If somebody so much as side eyes you, report them, and we will punish them. The government will punish somebody else and possibly lose their job that they've worked years and years for, put in their career. And if they give you so much as a side eye, you're allowed to report them. That's a bunch of shit. That changed to now they're able to proselytize. They're openly encouraging them to go and spread their Christian shit to other government employees. So you just can't not talk about them today. If you're a right-wing person and you're an atheist and you're against having a religion forced on you, you need to come to our side, because they're selling you out. Your wife, your daughter, all of those other things. They're selling you out for their religious notions. So there's that. I'm surprised by how many people we get in here this morning going, is this a religious channel now? You know what? I never even seen your face. And you pop in here and going, this is not an atheist channel. I'm not going to watch anymore. Were you watching secretly before? And now you're going to bounce? Is that kind of the deal? Or did you just pop in and go, oh, I want to try to belittle these people and say, oh, this is yucky, I'm leaving? Kelly Lofton says, Ryan, oh yes, he is the party king. Robert Madewell, I've been to Texas. I give it 1 star as well. See, you notice. Thank you, Robert Madewell, for noticing the phrasing of the show. It's the 1 star state, not the Lone Star State. See, Kelly Lofton, awesome, Kelly. Kelly's going to Texas next week, leaving in 8 days. Yeah, good luck down there. Be safe. I mean, there's a lot going on down there. It's probably exaggerated to some degrees. I mean, you're an older white male, so unless you wear a pride flag or some business, you'd probably be okay. Brent A. I'm on the Texas coast, Theophilus. Got you. Texas is West Dumfuckistan. Well said. That's almost like a haiku. Sapien Cephalopod. Vanya, hi, first time here. What's up? When talking about Christian nationalism, first person that comes to mind is Andrew Wilson from Crucible Debate Channel. I don't think I've ever heard of him. There are a lot of people that my first thought when I think of, good morning, by the way, Vanya. My first thought whenever I think of Christian nationalism is Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, those kind of people, you know. I even want to say Jordan Peterson, but I don't really know enough about him. All I've seen, Jordan, man, if you're watching, I hate to say it, I haven't watched a lot of your shit, read none of your books. All I've seen is you get destroyed by some young college atheists, and you were just an idiot. It was just fantastic to watch. Ghost / for you, if we could ever get a day with no religion and everyone is a humanist, it will be a great day. I got to be honest, that's kind of my mission. I am not happy with what's going on in the conservative circles. They're overthrowing our government, and part of the way they're doing it is using the Christian vote. The only thing I, as an atheist, can do is use my voice to try to pull as many Christians and reason them out of that faith and go, hey, look at how this is. That way, if I can get them away from that faith, they'll stop voting for those one issue things like abortion or whatever thing that the Christians vote on. That everything, it's always harmful. They're always, if there's a right way to do things, they're going to hurt somebody. You know, like once again, one of the theocracy watches we discussed was talking about how Christians, you know, this anti-trans thing and anti-gay marriage, they're going against marriage again. Christians are trying to get gay marriage taken out of our government. That is religio-political, you know, so just those topics alone say it's okay. It's okay that I talk about politics. JP can't admit there's a Christian. He's a Christian. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was just Jordan Peterson, man. I tell you, Jordan Peterson, that man is not right. You know, the back cruise, they do have a back cruise going on. Again, we do have a poll here, but they do have a back cruise going on, my friends. If you're into that sort of thing, if you're in Texas, go check that out. I'm posting again the links for FAFO for if you guys want to help out, buy some school supplies for some kiddos there. But, you know, the last time I was in Texas, they pulled me over and almost threw me in jail for a tiny, tiny little amount of weed. It was just a tiny little amount of weed. They were going to throw me in jail. And then they took all my weed away from me. And I'm like, I'm not coming back, bastards. So screw Texas. That's just one of many reasons why, you know, but that was the nail in the coffin right there. And plus my twin brother moved out of there. The only other reason my son lives down there and my adopted son and I have a younger brother that lives in Texas. Those are the only reasons, only attachments I have left. Yeah, back cruise. Now, I heard, here's something else, my friends. Oh my goodness. I heard there's actually a black atheist cruise, black non-believers cruise or some business like that, an actual real cruise. And I would so be down for getting together an actual atheist non-believers cruise, a real cruise together and go do that shit. That'd be so awesome if we could do that. Believe the hype. Good morning. Sorry for your weed loss. I'm in Texas, so I get it. Yes. Yeah. You know, I was raised, I was like, I spent most of my youth avoiding the law and smoking weed in Texas. I did a good job. But I became complacent here in New Mexico, living in New Mexico where it's legal for so long. Yeah, so part of the deal is, I mean, you'd think after all, now, surely there are more harmful effects to cannabis than we would like to admit, some of us, especially in the memory department. But there are a lot more benefits whenever it comes to anxiety and pain relief and all these other things. Cannabis is so good. Let me check our chat. Let's see. I saw somebody new here. Another newbie. Dragons in Genesis podcast. Good morning, Jason. Thank you for joining us again. Even though it's decriminalized here, I still can't smoke because of my job. Damn it. Yeah, work sucks whenever they don't do the thing. I love the Devil's lettuce, says Rainbow Ash. True. Kelly Laughlin said I would go on a cruise with Chris and Kelly. Hell yeah. An atheist cruise, that'd be fantastic. I've been on a couple sci-fi Star Trek cruises, my friends. If you're into Star Trek, that's the thing. But yeah, I've been on a couple of those. I would love to go on an atheist cruise, especially, and I know, man, come on, cruise lines, work with me here, people, work with me. Catch up to modern society. We need a cannabis positive cruise for atheist people, you know, right? Am I right or am I right? Why not? You're going to be in international waters most of the time anyway. Give us some places where we can let us smoke weed up on deck and stuff like that, you know. Make it don't bring down our, don't suck the joy. No, don't be, I don't know, there's an expression, but you know what I mean. Cruise lines, don't do the thing. Secular smoke outside. Fair though. Yeah. You'd fall off. You know, I don't know. If we had weed instead of alcohol is so much worse than weed as far as impairing your things. And because of, I mean, they have people fall off ships all the time. So there's an atheist cannabis cruise. Ryan is in. I think Ryan is in. Ryan in? I think Ryan is in. Atheist cannabis cruise. I liked it. Secular age cannabis cruise. Ooh, that's fun. We're going to do that thing. Robert Madewell, smoking anything hurts your lungs. That's not wrong. I think that's probably true. You know, that I've even actually considered my lungs. The older you get, the more you want to think about the shit that you've done, and that you do. They call it a blunt ride. Yeah, that's probably true. Let me check our poll for the day. I do have a poll going. The question of the day is aligned with the channel topic. Should independent commissions be in charge of redistricting Texas and other states, of course, really, but should independent commissions be in charge of the redistricting? That's the question of the day. Let me see how many votes we got. It looks like we have 39 votes. There's a link up in the top up there in the chat. Go vote if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts. So far, 79% of the people say yes, politicians should not pick their voters. You know, if it weren't for gerrymandering, the conservatives would have no chance, I believe. No chance. Not all smokers inhale, says Dragons in Genesis Pipe, and cigar smokers don't pull in any smoke. Some don't. Most of them don't. Yeah. But my thinking is you can still get mouth cancer from that. Yeah, if you're worried about that sort of thing. I did Copenhagen mostly for a long time. So I did snuff for a long time. So sadly, the weed cruise can never happen since it's illegal federally. It's illegal for federally now. It needs to. And also, I mean, quite a few of the cruise lines, well, I guess almost all of them are registered out of foreign countries. So I don't know how that would work. It'd be interesting to look into it. Yes. Skull. Was it Skull for you? Yeah. I finally give up. I smoke cigarettes and then I dip snuff, give up cigarettes for snuff. And then I finally give up snuff for cigarettes again. No. Dip snuff first, gave up snuff for cigarettes, then gave up cigarettes back to snuff, and then I finally got rid of snuff. That was rough. Anyone else can just feel like they say, fuck off, you sadistic cunt, to all the haters today. I have anger issues this week. Yeah. Yes. Very interesting. I'm going to take a quick break real quick, and we're going to do the pup commercial that you almost got to watch a minute ago. When we get back, I'm going to rattle for a little while. I actually do. I'm not as lovely as Ryan, and it's probably not going to be as well put together as Ryan's, but I have a Theocracy watch today for you, my friends. And we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. If you're new to the show and you've never seen the pup, well, hell, check out the pup.
Fine again.
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Finnegan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Puppius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalop the Fifth.
Your popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Flanagan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms? Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
Not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that.
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
True. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label, a warning label on the box, not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your popedom. Would there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
Good morning, Bo Hancock. Thank you for joining us this morning. I don't recognize your name. I think you said you were new and from Austin, but man, the chat is rocking this morning. You guys are fantastic. I don't have any kind of meter or slowdown on the chat, and it's just me. I don't have my co-host Ryan here with me, so I'm trying to keep up as best as I can. I'm really not. I don't look at the chat hardly at all, but it makes me feel better to lie to you and say that I'm trying. Every now and then I glance over, I'm like, oh yeah, somebody says something. But other than that, I really don't put a lot of effort into it. And they say us atheists are dishonest. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. AI autocorrect is worse than the original. I mean, AI Google search, right? Oh my goodness. Stop it already. Stop it. I miss my old Google search. What's your favorite approach when debating, talking with Trump evangelical voters? I prefer to taser them until they're lying in the pool of their own urine. Unfortunately, for some reason, and I'm not sure why, but lobotomies are frowned upon. I don't get it, but you can't lobotomize them anymore. Most of them are hardcore fundamentalists. It's really hard to have rational discussions. It is, isn't it? It is. Isn't it amazing? It's my friends. It boggles my mind. Kyle Kaepernick. Sorry, Kyle, if I'm saying your name wrong. He bent the knee in the name of injustice against his people. And we had conservatives burning their shirts, burning jerseys out on there and posting it on social media. We had Nike post some kind of commercial about, I think it was about women's rights or equality. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. But then they're out burning their Nike shoes. You know, Donald Trump has been in photographs and videos with one of the most notorious child traffickers in history, in America, in modern history, in videos and all this stuff. He has done everything you would think someone who was in those files would do. Before they came out, he's like, oh, well, there might be misinformation in there. You know, I mean, if you're new and you're new to this, you know, they ask him, you know, would you release the JFK files? Yep, release them. Sure would. Would you release the Martin Luther King files? Yes, I would release. Would you release the Epstein file? Oh, you know, I don't know. Some people, there might be some innocent people in there and some misinformation. But, you know, sometimes a lot of people just think that it's Donald Trump's name on a piece of paper. And there is that. However, it's not just Donald Trump's name on pieces of paper saying he went this place and he went that place. When they say the Epstein files, we're also talking about videos, hours and hours and hours of videos. You know, if you've heard me rattle about it, there's this secret video that somebody recorded of Pam Bondi talking about there's tons and tons of child SA material. And it's difficult to find agents who can bear going through that much of it. And that's what's in there. Donald Trump allegedly, thank you, Ryan. I know Ryan's like, allegedly, I'm going to slap an allegedly on you, old man. Allegedly, I'm alleging that Donald Trump is in there. Videos of Donald Trump with, do you want to say, yeah, see on the, don't you dare say underage women. They were children. Because how the media likes to do the whole underage women thing. No, they were children. So at best, he knew about it. At absolute best, my friends. He even has spoken about how he knew Jeffrey Epstein took at least one person from Mar-a-Lago back in the day. So Donald Trump, at best, he knew. At worst, he was actually in league with Jeffrey Epstein and was a partner providing services and a place to get children to be trafficked at worst. But so let me back on point, man. Let me check out my chat. Everyone calls them young women, and that's what pisses me off too. It just makes it, it pisses me off. They are, some of them indeed are young women. They're 16, 17. They are indeed young women, but by our standards, they're also children. And in this context, they're children because they're being preyed upon by older men and doing, you know what I mean? John Fabiano, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Loaded language is right. Yeah. And, that sort of brings us back to the whole Gaza and Israel thing. I've seen quite a few of these news reporters or news outlets, they'll have, people in Gaza are starving, but they don't ever want to point out that Israel is the one. Israel's starving people. I I really got to give my hats off to Al Jazeera. Yeah. And I remember I used to be prejudiced. I mean, just from where I came from and, that sort of thing. And I remember the first time I heard of Al Jazeera, the news outlet, and I was like, why are you people listening to anything that comes out of there? It's clearly an Islamic Muslim propaganda thing, because I was stupid. And I'm still stupid in a lot of ways. I'm still learning, conversations I have make me go, you know what? I might be wrong about that. I do that from time to time. Recent conversation I had, looking at you, Ryan. I'm like, you know what? I think I may be wrong there. Anyway, that's a long story for another day. Why? Because left-handed Jedi, good morning. Fox propaganda. Fox needs to be taken off the air. See, Donald Trump is doing the exact game plan that the liberals need to do when they get back into office. He's like CBS or whoever it was, he's trying to sue them for like $800 billion or some shit. That's what they need to do to Fox. Fox needs to be sued out of existence, $5 trillion. I think it was in the trillions. What did it in the trillions? Fox needs to be sued into the trillions of dollars because, give this $750 million is nothing. It's nothing nowadays. Look at all these companies out there, these tiny little shit companies that get bought or sold for $1 billion or $3 billion or $5 billion. I mean, you've got these companies that shrug off $1 billion thing. Fox News did that. It was more symbolic than anything. They should have been sued out of existence. Part of the reason why we'd have Donald Trump now is because of a huge part of the reason is because of Fox News. Muttley Von Erich says, I thought that too about Al Jazeera for £2. Thank you, Muttley. I appreciate that. Yeah, I learned. It took some learning, but I learned. I want to say I'm kind of the age now to where I don't really trust any of them right out. I mean, but I weigh them with skepticism. I'm just careful, first of all, to not let myself read just the things that I want to believe. But other times to make sure what I'm reading is true sometimes. Caitlin Beyond, good morning. I don't recognize your name. So Robin Webster's here. So good morning, Caitlin. We do have some other Caitlins. Caitlin, yes. Robin Webster's here. Good morning, Robin. Hugs. I actually got to visit with a lot of the people in the chat. last weekend, or weekend before last, this past month. Man, it was so wonderful. I got to meet Robin Webster and Kelly Lawson and Kelly, the Queen Atheist King, Kelly, the Atheist Queen from Detroit. I got to meet all of those wonderful people. It was fantastic. Muttley Von Erich, I think everyone, included ourselves, run the risk of having our own bias. Yeah, so I got to try to be careful about that, to some degree. Oftentimes on here, I'll tell you, I'll be like, listen, man, don't listen to me. I'm just some jackass on the internet. Go find out for yourself. Some of the things I have to talk about today were, of course, in Texas, they're talking about arresting their political opponents. And that's the thing. It's like, either you let us gerrymander openly. Everybody knows they're doing it. They're clearly doing it. Everybody knows. It's not hidden at all. Openly let us gerrymander this state so we can win the next election, or go to jail. Those are the choices now for the Texas liberals. And shame on Texas. I'm from Texas. I don't know if you can tell it. I was hatched there, raised there. But yeah, your insurance, Medicare won't pay for them in your house, literally right behind the pharmacy. That's one of the things, Medicare and Medicaid. Remember all the times the conservatives like, we aren't going to go after Medicare. Joe Biden's like, they're going to go after Medicare. And they're like, boo, boo, that's a lie. And they got the power. And what'd they do? They went after Medicare. And who are they giving those billions of dollars to? Rich people with yachts. Rich people who already have yachts are getting that billions of dollars. And rich people and people who invest in prison companies, private prison companies, your Medicare money is now going to fund the modern day Gestapo called ICE. All those people that are going to be harmed. And, how many of them were conservatives? How many of them out there on Medicare voted for Donald Trump? Chris is a lizard person confirmed. Yes. How'd you know? What the hell? What happened? Did I miss something? Is my face cracking or something? The lizard part sneaking through? I don't know. Safety yourself, Philippot, and arresting women fleeing the state for medical procedures. That's the whole deal. The abortion topic alone is religion related. That's their theocracy being imposed upon us. And if they're going to prosecute women for crossing state lines to get medical care, then they are prosecuting them for religious reasons, because the science says no, it's nonsense. The stuff there, it's all nonsense. So it's religious, and these are the harmful things that happen when religion gains power. Nancy is here. Atheist cannabis cruise. Nancy, you heard that? Would you be down? Would you be down for an atheist cannabis cruise? I would be so down. And it'd have to be a Bahamas cruise from, I hate to say out of Florida, but that's what you get. Florida or wherever you can get out of. But, Bahamas cruise, not a West Coast cruise. Because I don't know, though, California versus Florida, shit. It's really rough. But our best experience was the Bahamas cruise. It was fantastic. And we could an atheist cruise. We could get all up there and chant in circles and worship the devil, and we could blaspheme and we could sin, because that's what we want to do. We can walk around hating on God, because that's what we do. We hate God. Those sorts of yes, I think that's cool. Good morning, Nancy. Let me see here. Wispy Regeneration. Wispy, I'm going to call you Wispy. Best viewers. Oh, that's okay. Never mind. So I'm doing TikTok, by the way. So there's somebody over on TikTok. I wonder if the only thing I'm going to get on TikTok is just bots. Interesting. Just kind of curious about that. Nancy, Trusty Dave, smoke weed. Yeah, I think it'd be, remember, it'd be really nice if it was a weed friendly, it'd have to be a weed friendly cruise, I think. That'd be awesome. But maritime law, I don't know. Weed is just weed. People eat baby. Oh, we can have babies. We can have baby. I know. Baby on the menu, babies. Huh, that's right. Jamaica might be your best bet for the weed. Yeah, it might really be. Or at least once you get to where you're going, you can pop off and get some. I got to be honest. We didn't have any problems, and I usually take weed with me wherever I go. We didn't have problems on the first cruise that went to the Bahamas. On the second cruise that went to the Bahamas, they took my vape. I had like a vape, and they took it because they're bitches. And I'm like, hey, this is like, we were leaving out of California, and it was legal in California, and we were going into international. And I'm like, why can't we have our weed? And she's like, this lady's like, I don't know why you can't have it. I'm just gonna put it right here in my pocket. You just need to go away now. I'm like, all right, lady, you wanted my weed, I get you. While there have been discussions or inquiries about atheist-friendly cruises within online communities like Cruise Critic, there aren't any scheduled cruises with an explicit atheist theme. I agree with that. That's awesome, Kelly. We need to work that up. I think that's kind of the situation. No, I mean, cruises are stupid expensive. Not everybody can afford them. And I don't know what it'd take to put together a themed cruise. They have themed cruises already. The Star Trek cruise I went on, the night we were done, we went to bed and everything was Star Trek. And when we woke up the next morning, they had already put in all their 80s rock band crap up because the next cruise was 80s themed, so it'd be nice to get it to where we could do that. Robin Webster, Black Non-Believers has a cruise. See, that's what I'm saying. We should join them at the very least. I'm sure somewhere in my genetic history, somewhere, maybe not. I could be the entertainment. There you go. Let me just check this out. All right. So I think what I'm going to do now, again, I'm not going to be as good as Ryan Cultastic. She is fantastic. She is awesome. Very, very articulate and whatnot. And she actually reads all of what she does. I think I don't actually read all of what I do. So I'm gonna do this thing. Today, my friends, am going to tell you about Theocracy Watch. And I think we actually have a glimmer of good news. I think we've seen some of this. Ryan has talked about something similar, if not this one. I think it was a different state, actually, that went through. I thought it was Utah that went through this. This is Arizona. So when I get back, we're going to do Theocracy Watch, the not Ryan version.
You're tuned into the Atheist Morning Show on the Dan Network. And this is Theocracy Watch.
It's me. Uh-oh. It's me. Am I there? There I am. It's me. So we have a Theocracy Watch this morning. Now, again, it's not going to be as awesome as Ryan's. However, one of the things that this is talking about is where Christians, there are people, we have finally got it to where in Arizona, they have to report a child SA incident. The Christian conservatives have been fighting it for some time now, and they've finally seen some light. Somebody's made that happen. Why would they fight that? Why would they fight that? I don't get that. Is the predator child heirs right to confidentiality between the priest and his God? Is that covenant more sacred than the protection of his child or somebody else's child? Only the church would take that and give the wrong answer, it would seem. So I'm trying to keep up with, I really am trying to keep up with the chat. I was lying earlier. I lie sometimes. I'm an atheist. That's what we do. So here's some of what we've got going on here. Let me catch up on this. In Texas, this is the situation. Damn it, not Texas. I'm all wrapped up in Texas, my friends. A recent Arizona Court of Appeals ruling has revived a troubling lawsuit involving church-led cover-ups and raises urgent questions about how clergy privilege is misused to shield abusers. And then there's a Theocracy Watch. So here's kind of the story. Back in 2011, an Arizona man admitted to SAing his own children during a meeting with his local LDS bishop. Okay. Though he was excommunicated in 2013, church leadership reportedly advised against notifying law enforcement. So for 2 years, after admitting that he was abusing his own children, it took them 2 years to excommunicate this man. Let me see if I can share this, so you're just not sitting there watching me. You won't be able to read it because it'll be all small. Let's go here. I can make it good. I'll make it more gooder this time. There we go. Hold on, my friends. On mon ami is redistricting. Which one is it? Damn it. Okay. No, yes, no, maybe. Damn it. Hold on a second. Let's try that. Share. And let's see what happens. And for some reason, it's not working today. Anyway, let me go on. It'll just be better this way. I'll just go on. Let me stop sharing because it's just not playing right. Let me just do this and do this. Let me just do it this way. My friends, you like watching me read. So, why is that being a bitch? Oh, I know why that's being a bitch. There we go. All right. Bear with me. I'm getting there. Because I figured it out. I'm all smartified. But I don't know why it says that. There's, oh, you guys. Oh, here we go. So now, hey, I'm really tiny. You see my head? Ooh, you see my head. All right, that's cool. A little weird, but that's cool. We're going to roll with it, though. Let's go here. Boop, boop, boop. Make that big enough where you guys can see it. Maybe. Okay, so let me go down to here. In 2011, an Arizona man admitted to sexually abusing his children during a meeting with his local bishop. We talked about that part. A state judge. Now, again, it took them 2 years before they excommunicated this guy. And even then, they still didn't go to the law. A state judge dismissed the victim's civil suit in 2013, citing Arizona's clergy penitent privilege, which can exempt clergy from reporting confessions. So you kind of see, I mean, the victims and the church did them wrong. They had the opportunity to stop the abuse. In 2011, the church had the opportunity to stop what was happening to these children, and they didn't. And then somewhere down the road in 2023, the children, apparently the victims, had a civil suit, and it was dismissed because clergy privilege is more important. You know, I'm going to do this right here. I'm this here. Awesome sauce. Let me catch up with the chat and see what people think. That is kind of our situation in there. But in Arizona, we've kind of made some traction. I think the big screen thing was bothering me. Let me just do it like this. Y'all can stare at me like that. There we go. Here we go. So there is a turning point. This summer, Arizona's appellate judges unanimously ruled that secrecy is not guaranteed. Right? Why would it be? Such as admissions made in broader settings. All right, so I think we're splitting hairs here. I think it should include all areas, but all right, they're giving us an example here. Good thing. A state judge dismissed the victim's civil suit. Missed that part, right? Turning point. Appellate judges unanimously ruled that secrecy is not guaranteed, such as admissions made in broader settings or excommunication panels. A jury may decide. So that's the whole deal. And whenever they're talking about whether they're going to excommunicate him or not, that is no longer under privilege. That's no longer under confessional type of privilege. You know? So just kind of thing. At that point, they were no longer obligated to keep it secret. Of course they did, right? We know they did. The case touches the heart of the faith-based authorities. Should religious doctrine override mandatory protective laws designed to safeguard children? Now, of course, what are the Christians going to do? The wrong thing every time. They're going to choose against that for some reason. I don't know why. But that's what this whole article is about, how they did exactly that. Once again, but fortunately, Arizona people won. The religious people were thwarted for now. They're going to rethink their plan and come at it again shortly, of course. But anyway, that's our Theocracy for Watch for today. It wasn't as fancy as Ryan's, but let me get over to the chat and we'll talk to people about what the hell I was talking about. There we go. Our religion should not override that. I know, right? Well, what is it about these people that children seem to be? I think I put it quite well earlier. Predators, one of the worst people, admittedly, one of the worst people in our society. Almost anybody would say those are the worst people, the PDF files who attack and violate their own children. I mean, you know, how do you value that person in any way over his defenseless children or anybody else's children? I think part of the reason why is they don't want to break that trust, because if they break that trust, other people will stop giving them their secrets. I think that's kind of weird. You think I did great? I did great. I thought about getting like a wig and a cool top, but I don't have a wig, and the wife wouldn't let me have a cool top. So you know how it is. I just did what I worked within my limits. I'm a victim of, I can't imagine what these people are going through. You know, really, these anti, and John Hudson's got it. Why are these laws are exactly that? These are laws to protect child predators. Yeah. As long as that child predator is part of your religion, of course. I could borrow Ryan's outfit from yesterday. That was fantastic, right? I look like the Tooth Fairy. You remember the Tooth Fairy movie? That's fantastic. I would look like that if I was wearing Ryan's outfit. Be pretty, Chris. Yes, I may not be smart, but I'm pretty. The church loves control. They want total authority over the people. That's not wrong. It's not. And it's amazing that these other little kind of smaller cults, the LDS, I say smaller cults as opposed to the Catholic Church, right? But that they do the same thing. Is there a church that hasn't had a child SA scandal? Now, this is a two-part question, because there's, almost all of them, I'm sure, probably had that. They can only control that to a certain degree. Is there any church out there that has had a child SAer in their midst that didn't cover it up, that did the right thing? Is there a list maybe of ones that actually went, damn, we need to do the right thing and turn that guy into jail? I bet there are more victims out there than there are priests who have been turned in, or preachers or pastors or whatever, who have been turned in for confessing. Actually, I'm sorry, I got screwed up, but you know what I'm saying? For predators who've been turned in by their priests for confessing it to their deal. Yeah. That's sad, isn't it? It's sad. It's sad that you can dependably, reliably guarantee for the church to hurt the children, to cry foul, to clutch their pearls, and to do things that either hurt the children or protect people who hurt the children. And it doesn't really matter which church. If you're Catholic out there and you're going, oh my, nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not just Catholics. They spread that shit around. Let me check my chat over here. Something, make sure everything's going right. Oh, it stopped. See, there we go. My chat stopped. Good morning, Captive Death. Thank you for joining us this morning. It has been an adventure film. I haven't even gotten through all the stuff I'm talking about. Alyssa M says there are so many different types of religions that hush it. However, Christian or Catholic, it doesn't matter. They really do a good job of hushing it. Very true. Yeah. Whether it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They've just. It's sad, especially that they claim the moral authority. Their followers are walking here and they'll be like, how can an atheist claim objective morality, blah, 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 nonsense, while completely ignoring the horrors that go on within Christianity. Why are you in my chat? You need to be over there lecturing your own Christian folk to stop hurting people. That's what you need to do. Don't be in my chat lecturing me about your God. Go over there and lecture other people about your God. But I gotta say, my friends, that notion of me telling them and then them going to tell other people who are doing their God wrong to do it a different way, that has caused so many wars. The Protestant Reformation, it was literally that. You're doing it wrong, and we're going to kill you because you're doing it wrong. It escalated to that. That's interesting. Good morning, Trina. Thank you for joining us. That's interesting. Did you guys, when you stop and think about it, have you ever thought about which commandment has probably cost the most lives outright? You ever thought about that? In the chat, folks. In the chat, work with me here. Which commandment of the 10 commandments we commonly know has cost the most lives? That you can almost objectively go, this is the reason these many lives. Which one? I'll look in the chat. Let's see. The job and problem with the religion. Thou shalt not kill. I wish. That was a good one, actually. That's a good commandment if they would have followed it. They never follow it. But that's not the one that's actually, I feel, directly caused, because that's kind of subjective. Everybody kills. The one, no God above me, that's a good one. That's a good one. That one there's probably up in the top. I haven't run the numbers on that one, but that's a good one. I like that because that one encompasses a lot of things. The one that's on my mind that we actually have some kind of solid numbers on would actually be the second. No idols. No graven images. That's like the Catholic Reformation. Millions of people were killed because one group of people didn't think you should have these kinds of things in your church. Images, pictures, you shouldn't do these. And so they went around killing each other for that very commandment by the millions. Isn't it crazy? These people ain't crazy. Red button syndrome. Don't press the red button. What do you want to do now? I want to press the red button. Is there a red button? Do I get a red button? Son of bitch. Let me catch up in the chat. Yeah, so that's my thing. I mean, now whenever I was doing the research on that, I already knew about the Reformation. I already knew about the Calvinists and all that shit. But whenever I was doing the research, I didn't realize there were actually 2 or 3 other wars, genocides, slaughters, whatever you want to call them, that were directly related to that same thing. Yeah, go look it up on the internet. One of them was a fancy word I couldn't say, so I didn't try to say it. I didn't want to embarrass myself. They should have used reverse psychology. Yeah, maybe so. Well, one of the things as atheists, we often criticize the morals of the Bible. And I am currently in the process of doing that in video form. I'm working on a video. I started scripting it yesterday. I'm working it now. I'm actually doing it. I've started leaning a little bit on AI and I'm sick of it. I want to do, letting it outline it and do this thing, but no, I want to do it myself. So I've been taking a little more time and working on this one. And it's essentially a critique of the 10 Commandments. No, Christopher Hitchens. He did a critique of the 10 Commandments, and power to you. Anything is almost better than what they have. But I've come up with my own. I think it's superior. In fact, I think it's much better. I think had you not had Christianity or the Abrahamic religions, period, any of them, starting with like Abraham and as far back as you can go, had you not had them and instead taught the 10 Commandments human civilization would have flourished so much better than it did. Have you ever noticed you really can't give that kind of credit to the Abrahamic religion? It's stuck around through its violence and all that other stuff, the religions. But, whenever you look at like ancient Greece or ancient Rome, ancient Samaria, wonderful. Ancient cultures that were fantastic, beautiful, built great things. Can't say that about the people who wrote the Bible, as far as I know. Great tent makers. But again, I have a lot to learn. Dr. Kip, if he was in the chat, would probably smite me for what I said. Let me do a thing. I'm going to take a quick break. Let me ask you guys, a lot of people have already seen the new commercial. So I've got, those of you who don't know, I have a new commercial. There's probably a Bible emoticon down if you type in Bible emote, or yeah, if you want to see that one. But we also have our normal ones, the pup, goat scented flesh candles. Do you want some goat candles or Pharaoh's curse? What would you guys? Altar boys. Okay. Are we chanting for altar boys? Okay, altar boys. We'll do altar boys. Altar boys would indeed be topical. That's fantastic. Let's do altar boys. And it's just yes, we'll be back in just a second. 30 seconds.
Is our humble parish tired of constant litigation? Drained by bloodthirsty lawyers sucking the collection plates dry? Well, no more threats of jail time and public humiliation. Try Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. Cute little fellas, eyes and mouth wide with surprise, complete with lifelike tears. Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys, coming to a Walmart near you.
All right, now as much as I love the Altar Boys commercial, it's really short. It doesn't really give me time to go do my thing. So I am going to go ahead and give you folks, Black Rational Poet Jackie has not seen the new commercial. I don't think Lissa has seen the new commercial. I'm going to hit this button and you're going to see the new commercial and I'll go get me a cup of coffee.
Do you have an atheist friend or family member who's a good person and you don't want to see them end up in hell? But now they're on their deathbed. Time is running out. They've been there for you and now you want to be there for them. But how can you save them from your all-loving, forgiving God and its eternal lake of fire? Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles. No more worries of loved ones meeting their resolution without absolution. Now you too can flourish your faith on the weak and helpless in their final moments. Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles are designed specifically for the weak and infirmed. Extra large type for failing eyes seeing their last. Deluxe editions come complete with a post-mortem Mother Teresa would have approved baptismal kit. Also available in heathen and heretic versions. Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles coming to a Walmart near you.
And see, I screwed up. It should have been apostate and heretic versions. But I screwed up. I did heathen, because atheists are heathens. So it should have been, yeah. Apostates are the ones who've left the religion. And then, they've left the religion, but now they're on their deathbed. We got a Bible for that sort of thing. So I hope you were into that. Now, John said that Chris is a great actor, does such a good priest, that I feel like I was essayed by him. I appreciate where you're going. I appreciate, yeah. Just keep that shit to yourself, John. Vic Lit. Good morning, Vic Lit. Thank you for joining us. John broke our chat. I guess since Raven isn't here, it's just John breaking our chat. Good morning, you all. Okay, so now. I have been rattling about the Texas governor order and all that stuff about those sorts of things. That's the news article I had up earlier. And then we did our Theocracy Watch. Wasn't quite as good as Ryan's, but I did okay. I'm not bad. Now I've got another thing to talk about. Again, it's politics related. And I mentioned it earlier. I did briefly touch on it, but now they've got the Department of Justice Attorney General Pam Bondi has ordered a grand jury investigation into the intelligence regarding President Trump and Russia in the run-up to 2016. So, essentially, Donald Trump and his, what do you call her? Lapdog? Pam Bondi? He's trying to sick her on Obama. And I think it's not going to be terribly long before they start moving to do some arrests. And it may start with these Texas people, by the way. First time seeing this commercial. Was it your first time? It's a new one, Kelly. I just came up with it over the weekend. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. I've got more coming. Some of them take more work. Some of them take more recording and effort and work. So, but I enjoyed that one. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, these absolute sycophants. And but that's what they're going to do. Part of the deal is I don't know why I think so much beyond it just being a distraction from the Epstein files, but maybe it's because he sees Obama as a political threat. I don't know. One of the things I think they're trying to do is they're trying to set an example to where if they do lose the election again, you better not come after them. I don't think they're going to lose the election again. A cassock, is that what they call it? Is it a cassock? Safety and Cephalopod says, so Chris, let me get this straight. You own a priest cassock. Yeah, I do now. Yeah, I do. You've seen the pup commercial, right? You can see the whole thing in the pup commercial. Yeah, priest robes, arcade. Yeah, okay. I don't know. More like cassock. I don't know. I do have them though. I mean, yeah, I got the whole thing. I've got more commercials. I've got a lot of commercials planned with Father Flanagan. Father Flanagan Industries. Really, one of my favorite ones that I just haven't dropped yet is going to be our self-flogging whips. That's going to be the next product line we have. You know how it is, though. It's to design a whip that self-flogs you so you don't hurt your shoulder and stuff like that, but you can still punish yourself is a fantastic idea, but they're kind of dangerous. And it takes a lot of research in the lab. So it's a little longer to get a product we can put out on there. So just bear with us. We'll get there. The Adderall just kicked in. Time to act normal. Later, John. Thank you. You know, speaking of Adderall, I was talking to my person, and they're like, well, I can't give you those kind of drugs, the Adderall, the real drugs. Best we can do is give you like mood enhancers. I'm like, well, no, I want the real drugs. And they're like, all right, so we're going to send you this other person. So I scheduled this appointment to do a video conference with this other person. And I get a video conference yesterday, and I'm like, yay. And I'm talking to the person, like, oh, well, I can't give you pills. I mean, I can give you some, but I can't give you those. You got to go for an in-person thing. I'm like, really? My goodness, people, I'm just getting such the runaround on it. They are definitely stretching the abilities of my attention span. I'm just saying. Father Flanagan bought out the Roadrunners Acme company in a way, sort of did. I have a lot of things coming. If I could just get my shit together, if I could just enjoy that and do that, but I got other shit going on. I really do. I really hope those videos hope people like those. But I'll go through the effort. I'll make one of those parody commercials. It'll get 150 views. But I don't know. People love them. Neurogeezer, how about the eye cross for Christians who like to play the martyr? Oh, that's an interesting one. They could, we could even come with a custom made cross where you could climb up on it anytime you felt persecuted. And now you can even take it to work if you're a government employee. Have it right there in your own, oh, that's a good idea. I may have to write that down. Let me go here. I want you to know, my friends, I have no problem stealing ideas. Portable cross. Yes. From Father Flanagan's line of products, of course. That's perfect. Made of modern day carbon fiber. No pesky splinters for us. Vic Lit, shit, man. The first time I talked to my family doc, they threw me at a psychiatrist, and I so much as mentioned focus struggles from chronic pain, and they wanted to throw Adderall at me. Yeah, no, it has been a struggle getting the Adderall. Well, apparently, here's what happened for those of you who give a shit. Apparently, a lot of people have ADHD. Yeah. And a lot of them didn't know. And so there's been this big rush on getting these medications. Some of these medications are addictive and problematic. And so there needs to be care, I guess. And at first, people weren't given a lot of care. They were just giving out the pills. And now they care. I don't know why. Why do they care now? Give me pills. And I was talking to her, and she was talking about, we got to do this and we got to do that. And it's like, she said, unless you actually, want the pill, then, you've got to do this, you got to do that. And I'm like, I want to be honest. That's what I'm here for. That's what I was there for whenever I stopped down the very first time to talk to the psychologist who was going to recommend me to get the pill by a psychiatrist. You know what I mean? The very first time I wanted it. And no, they don't give me pill. They don't give me pill. There's a full-size version of ultralight, so you can carry it to Gothica or Golgotha. Ooh, that would be awesome. The cross. That's right. The cross could actually, if you like Rocket Man on the back and take you up to heaven, or at least launch you that direction for the rapture. Actually, before I get all wrapped up in that, I really need to do my soul swords and get the bell. The bell. Since it's all green screen, I could just put a bell on the green screen. That way, whenever they, if they're not happy with their soul sword, they can ring the bell and get their money back. So I like doing that. Modern society is incompatible with basic human nature. We need to medicate ourselves into compliance. Yeah. I don't see, there's no lies detected. Good point. Lisa M says, I can't take pills that change or alter my mind because I have a very horrible reaction. It's something to do with my nervous system and my immune system. Yes. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I have to say, one of the things about antidepressants that I didn't realize was that I would be able to remember my dreams. And with antidepressants, I'm able to remember my dreams and smoke weed. Whenever I did have antidepressants and smoked weed, I didn't remember my dreams. I see, you guys are wonderful. Let me check out something. I do want to check our poll today and see how it's going. Obviously, we're talking politics, and there's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. I do have a couple of good notes. One of them, let me go here. Damn it. I do have one here. Here's a new report out of Arizona. And it says that the LDS Church, there's a new suit that can go forward. That suit, the lawsuit we were talking about, they've refiled and it's going to be able to go forward. So there's good news on that. I think I was looking into that. The other thing I wanted to mention, we were talking a bit, I'm kind of only mentioning this because we were talking about it on the show, and this doesn't really absolve everything of everything, but Bill Gates is doing something good. We've talked about, why aren't there good billionaires? And, if being a billionaire alone in our society is makes you not a good person, I think, to a degree. But once you get that greedy dragon's hoard, what you do with it matters. Whether you help or oppress matters. If you've got that much money, you'll never want for anything again. So do you make everybody else's lives better, or do you make them worse? Well, to some degree, let's look at the Bill Gates. There is an article out today that the Gates Foundation has committed $2.5 billion to ignored women's health. Because throughout our, research science history, women have been completely ignored in so many ways. He's got a couple of things that they're specifically going to focus on, including, but not limited to, preeclampsia, menopause, doing research on those kinds of things. This is women really need this. This is so good. I'm so glad that they're doing this. I don't know how they're doing it. And we gotta know the government is not, you could at least in the past kind of depend on the government to come in and help subsidize some of these research projects. You cannot depend on that under the government we have now. If anything, I could see Donald Trump and their government trying to stop this just because it's good. It's good for women. They take the wrong side of everything. It's good for women. I feel like the religious people, they would definitely be wanting to make sure that women don't get something that's good for them. Listen, Emma had emergency surgery. They gave me morphine, and I did not know I was going to have a bad reaction, but I saw rats everywhere, and it freaked me out for at least an hour and a half. Wow, that sucks if you don't like rats. If you like rats, that might not have been such a bad experience. But I guess I'm a glass half full kind of guy today. Vic Litt says that's some scary shit. That's right. Oh yeah. And I do want to mention again that thank you, Jesse Bear, for posting again your thing there. Let me check and see if we've got anybody over here on these other things. Rainbow Ash is there. Look at you being over on Twitch, making me not alone and scared on Twitch. I was so scared. Okay, let me go over here. And I know you guys, some of you actually spoke out about the other commercials. I will show you guys some of those in a bit. Those are fun. I just wanted to do my rattling. I had a list of things I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to make sure we got through that list before I started doing too many of the commercials. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I'm still kind of blown away about that whole, the thing where we're talking about where a state like Arizona or a federal judge or a state is trying to push some Christian nonsense, and we hear about a judge who shuts it down or stops it. Man, that is awesome. That judge just did good. But at the same time, you hear about all the judges that are being replaced by Trump and his ilk, and it's like it's just a matter of time before they bring that same thing again and it passes. And then all of a sudden now priests have privacy again. Michelangelo Pei. Atheism is logical fallacy that assumes God is the religious idea of the creator of the creation to conclude wrongly no creator exists because, that's kind of, really, Michelangelo? That's kind of dumb. Don't you think? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just kind of an ignorant way to kick in the room, just exposing how foolish your notions are. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're probably a Christian presupposition this year. So you're going to come in here and we're a logic fallacy that assumes, you're probably using the word presumes. Either way, assumes, presume, and then you go and presume and assume that your God, that a God had to be the creation, the thing that created everything. I mean, and that my God, but I'm like, but why can't the universe have come from nothing? It can't have come from nothing. There had to be a creator. Who created the creator? And you're like, oh, my creator doesn't need a creation. Man, this shit is old. Get your ignorant stuff out of here. We don't care. Or deism, happy anniversary to us, 36 years. You and Captive Desk, you've been married for 36 years to your evil one. Is that right? Wow. If the Gates Foundation gets you an IUD, can they name it Clippies for Food? I don't know, Brent. That's I don't know. That's an interesting question. Let me see here if we had a response. Okay, listen. So you said when you had a baby, you couldn't take anything strong, only Tylenol? Damn, I hope it was a small baby. I mean, women went through that forever until recently, but damn. And a C-section too. I tell you, you're a toughie. You are a toughie. If I want you on my side. I know you can keep a secret. You can be tortured a lot. You'll suffer a lot, and you'll be okay with it. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Those are horror stories. Humans created pizza. That's what real divinity looks like. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, as a matter of fact, here in a minute during my next commercial, I think I'm going to go turn on the oven. No, I'll time it right. I know how to do this. Pizza good. No. See, I've been following John's example. No pizza after show. Right after show, I go out and work in the yard at least for half an hour every morning. I got things to do, at least half an hour. Let's see, did Michelangelo say something else? Oh, I was just checking to see if there was any other comment or if it's a post and run kind of situation. Atheism along with censorship. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of ignorance there. Anyway, is it so important for doctors to listen to women? That's right. Listen, it really is important for doctors to listen to women. But what happens under conservative, religious, Christian government is they end up persecuting women. Women end up dying in hospital parking lots because of Christians. And you saw what happened whenever one of them gets it right. That I don't remember which politician she was. She was a conservative politician over on the East Coast somewhere. She voted against abortion and all those things to make it as illegal. And then she had an ectopic pregnancy. She needed an abortion. She made a personal phone call to the governor, and he made a personal phone call for her. What type of hypocritical bullshit is that? That's what you get from conservatives, by the way. I don't think I'm wrong. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. Let me see here. So important for Doc. Yes, indeed. All of you, wait a second. I saw all you have to do is sleep deprive me and I'd crack like a nut. Oh yeah, I don't do well with that. I miss my nap and I'm a bitch. I gotta say. Now Kelly Laughlin is in the chat, was talking about coming on the show. Now, Kelly, if you're going to be at this, I just don't want you to put yourself out, man. If you're watching and you want to come on the show, like tomorrow or someday next week or sometime, if you want to schedule a thing and you're going to be at the shop, I'd love to have you. You're one of, I just don't want to put you out, man. I don't want you having to go through anything to have to be on the show. Man, I don't want to put you out. So get with me though, and we'll get you on the show because I so enjoy getting with you. I don't want to talk about, term limits. I don't want that to be the totality of our conversation, but get with me and we'll talk about it. Grandmas need to be on Valium again. When we talk about things like self-medication and medicating and things like that, there's a comment that society so sucks that we have to medicate ourselves. That's not a bad way of seeing it. But, we do, based on who we are, we do have real needs, I think. And I think there are real reasons besides just things suck. I think I would probably have ADHD even if things didn't suck. I remember all my life, I've gone, yep, that was me. It wasn't, whether things sucked or didn't suck, I had the same problem. So, weed, though, I have to say, is a little harder on the memory because I just forgot what the hell I was talking about. That's all right. When I was a kid, I used to dream very lucid dreams, but that kind of disappeared after I got to be an adult. Listen, after I, really with me, it's with weed, with cannabis. When I use cannabis, most of the time I don't remember my dreams until I started doing until I started doing antidepressants. Yeah, now back to the topic, a good point. Don't think religious groups, that's the whole deal. These religious groups intentionally trying to pass laws to protect priests from being sued for upholding their sacred vow of not turning in a PDF file when they hear about it. And what you could do is at least be open if you have a problem. If you have a problem with that, you don't want to lose it. You could make it known. Listen, this is the one exception. If you're one of these PDF files, we will not keep your secret. Otherwise, unless you're, they should have some things, they should make exceptions, but they don't. And I think part of the reason why they don't is because a lot of the people at the top would be facing those kind of charges. Interesting. Let me see here. Jesse Bear, I'm allergic to all parts of the cannabis plant. Really? That's most unfortunate. Yeah. My twin brother tried it once and he got sick and it didn't work for him. And that was all he needed. I would like to think that if he tried it again, he might find some relief for some of his aching stuff, but who knows? He might not. He may not be into that sort of thing. Let me check over here one more time, my friends. So yeah, 44 votes. Should independent commissions be in charge? One of the things is, they're already attacking the legitimacy of the next president. I don't think we're going to have another. I don't know. I predicted it before, sadly, but this notion of I don't think our elections are going to be reliable anymore. There's this quite a movement going, trying to force an investigation into the last election. Even if a big investigation somehow did go into the last election, Donald Trump would just kill it. I don't really see. It's nice to bring those things to light, but I fear that nothing's going to change. I had nightmares every single night. I woke up terror. Really, deviant outcast suffers from. All right, nightmares. I had nightmares every single night until you got a weighted blanket. Very interesting. I need to start remembering to read all this stuff out because, podcast situation. Rainbow says, all I know is I seem to sleep better without dreaming because I have nightmares and night terrors. So the weed seems to help in that sense. That's a good point. I have to say, I have a lot of dreams about buildings and ships, buildings and ships, that sort of thing. Yeah. Not as much. The further we get away from my last cruise, the fewer dreams I seem to have about cruise ships. Man, I'd have them so regularly, I would even, in my dreams, I was convinced, oh, wait, I'm really here. We're really here. This is not a dream. I would do that several times. I've done it. I can't tell you how many dreams I had where I'd be like out on the bow of the ship going, man, this is cool. We're really here. This is not a dream. It's not a dream. And then I just wake up a minute or two later. I was a son of a bitch. Let me see here, John. Depression is always caused by the same thing. I don't know. There are different thoughts on that. John, why are doctors so quick to put you on antidepressant meds instead of helping you figure out where the depression comes from? John, that's a great, that is fantastic observation. I have a twin brother. When we were young, he was prescribed, he had the full-blown ADHD. Kid was bouncing off the walls, and they give him antidepressants. One time I was sad in life, and I thought I needed antidepressants, and I got them, and they didn't help me. Here's the deal. I feel like there's a couple of reasons why you need antidepressants. One is circumstantial. Your situation sucks, and you're down about it because you should be. Your situation sucks. Whatever that situation is, if it sucks and you're down about it, you're down about it. You can be depressed because of that. Or you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. Those are not the same. So if you give a person who does not have a chemical imbalance in their brain, they're just in a shitty situation, antidepressants, it's probably not going to have the results you're wanting. See, that's my thinking. Dr. Chris has spoken. Yes. But yeah, that there are, I mean, some, again, I could be wrong, but I could say depression would be circumstantial, couldn't you? You know, if your life weren't shit, you would be, or this aspect of your life weren't shit, you would not be depressed. Abuelo, good morning, Abuelo. Buenos dias. Has anyone else felt empowered while dreaming? I have always, even during childhood dreams with scary thematic elements, still left me with a sense of control that always avoided fear. No, I haven't never had that benefit in my dreams. I don't know about anybody else. Am I depressed, or do I have enough enrichment in my enclosure? That's kind of it, you know. I guess that could kind of be it. You know, there are times whenever you're just, you know, you live a life of pressure and stress and circumstance, or, you know, depravity, poverty. You know, there are circumstances that could make people, especially circumstances over long periods of time, can make people, put them in a depressed state, or a state that would be equivalent to being depressed. That's kind of what I'm saying. Without, of course, being literally having the chemical imbalance that causes somebody like, what was the name of the lady the rich handbag lady who made all the handbags? You know, stupidly rich, fashion person, and she ended up hanging herself. You know, I don't know what her circumstances in her life were, but my understanding was she's been dealing with clinical depression for some time. So there was probably a chemical imbalance situation going on. See what I mean? Those kinds of things. And, you know, you often hear about people passing who you seem to think have everything. And you're like, why would they do that to themselves? They're a star, or they're successful, or they're this, or they're circumstance and chemical imbalance, either one. Robin Williams. You know, my friend, Neuro Geezer, I very much appreciate you thinking of Robin Williams. Robin Williams comes to mind whenever I think about self-deletion. Part of the thing with Robin Williams, though, and one of the reasons why I didn't use him is because his circumstance, in his circumstance, he had Lewy body, quite advanced Lewy body dementia, and was having problems in that area as well. So I don't think it was just that Robin Williams was sad. And I don't think that it was he had a chemical imbalance in his brain. In his case, there were things going on, and then he had that on top of it. You know, there were a lot of things going on there, which is sad because, I mean, Robin Williams is one of my childhood heroes. Absolutely. Jesse Bear, psychiatric issues like depression are disabilities no one wants or picks it. No, you're right. No, I get you. Yeah. And I'm not saying they do pick them. I'm just saying there's more than one way to have it. That's all. But, I'm not one, but I'm not somebody who's saying it doesn't exist. I'm somebody who exists more than you think. It's more than one way. That's just my thinking. Of course, I am no doctor, but as somebody who's been sad through or depressed through circumstances, as somebody who's spent 4 days to sleep in a hospital for attempted suicide, I kind of have a perspective on the matter. I'm just saying. The Daily Atheist Morning Show, didn't he have another neurological issue that made things worse? Yes, unless there may be a delay, Jesse Bear, but I think if you're talking about Robin Williams, yeah, I believe he had Lewy body, which is a form of dementia. Yeah, so he was having some severe mental health problems. Yeah. Alyssa M says, I don't think we've had real elections in the past few. Something in my gut just tells me, no, our last election, yeah. Our last true election was when Joe Biden beat Donald Trump. After that, Elon Musk and the oligarchs and Donald Trump made sure through cheating that they would never lose another election. Yeah. And so that was our last real election, in my view. Oh, yeah. The Jesse Berry talking about it being a disability. Yes, you're right. It is a disability. Of course it is. Yeah, I get you. And a lot of people wouldn't think it is. Well, and since we're going to talk about religion, which ones are the ones is it the Mormons? They're the ones who don't like psychiatrists? No. Which one is it? They don't like psychiatrists? Like Tom Cruise, he's one of them. They don't like psychiatrists and psychologists. Somebody in the chat will help me out. They'll hook me up. Nailed it like Jesus. That's awesome. Scientology. Okay, there you go. Scientology. Mennonite. What disability? What is a disability? Mental health issues. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Some people on the right don't think mental health issues are a thing. One of the things is that on the left, there are a lot of people who are realizing, man, it's important to take care of yourself mentally. You really need to take some me time every now and then. See a psychiatrist, see a therapist, do things that are good for you. Take some time off from work. You need to do these things and take care of your brain. But a lot of these things are seen as like left-wing, Starbucks, wimpy kind of things. Taking me time, self-care is seen as like weakness, and they poo-poo on that shit on the right. So I think it's important. As a matter of fact, that was one of the things in the 10 Commandments that I'm working on. There's this point in the 10 Commandments where it really should say, it says, don't use my name in vain, but it really should be telling you to take care of yourself. Or no, don't take the Sabbath. Don't forget the Sabbath. Worship the Sabbath. And it's bad if you don't worship the Sabbath. But what they should have said is, you know what? Once a week, you should take some me time for yourself and your family. Society would have been so much better off, rather than telling them to go force yourself down to some religious place just because you can't not be somewhere else. So, July was Disability Pride Month. Wow, there's a lot of things going on. Deviant Outcast has got a lot of words. Oh, you're talking about the weighted dove. Yeah, I've heard of other people who have benefited from having weighted blankets or weighted vests or weighted coats or something like that. I've never experienced it myself, but I've heard of it. Kelly, the Detroit Atheist Queen, says, I deal with mental health issues every day. It's a struggle. It is. I am a tall, relatively decent-looking white man. I have almost every privilege you could think of. Almost. I've always been poor. Were I rich, I guess I would have every privilege you would think of. But I have suffered from depression and been through all these things. Even with all that, I have felt that way. I can't remember. I can't imagine somebody who goes through our society who just their very being is a target by a third of our population. You know, just by being a person of color. When you walk into a room, you have to wonder what people are thinking of you, how they're going to treat you. Just because you're a woman, you have to worry when you walk into a room about how someone's going to treat you. I mean, I can't imagine the people out there who don't have my privilege. I mean, bless you all. You know, does that make sense? Is that making sense? I feel so much for those people, because even I don't know how to say what I'm saying, but what did you not know, Lisa? Louis body, and I spelled it Louis body. Yeah, Louis body. He had Louis body. And let me see here. It's been so long. Louis body. It is a form of dementia. Yeah. Progressive brain disorder that affects thinking, movement, behavior, and sleep. It's characterized by the presence of Lewy bodies, which are abnormal protein deposits in the brain. And it can cause a range of symptoms, including cognitive decline, visual hallucinations, and Parkinson's. So I don't really know. I don't know how badly Robin Williams was suffering from it. He was also going through financial issues. He apparently had to pay a lot of money to his ex-wives or some of that business. You know, things weren't financially as great as they could have been, but I don't think they were something that financially he couldn't have gotten over. How many stars do we know today who lost it all and have come back or made their rebound or some business like that? You know, I have no doubt he would have. I don't think that was it. I think it had to do with the Lewy body. Hard physical works helps your depression at 63. Yeah. You know, the older we get, the more we got to keep that shit moving. Scientology. Okay, it does appear there's a delay in the chat, my friends. I apologize. I'm trying to keep up, and it's really easy now because the chat just stopped. Diana Carrillo, Scientology. Vic, most medical professionals didn't take my pain seriously. Half of them said it was because of period pain, as if I didn't know how to tell the difference. And see, that's part of one of the things that I really appreciate about what Bill Gates is doing. Admitting there's a gap in our medical knowledge when it comes to women, and being willing to do something about it, being willing to throw money at it, you know, to help women, to help people. It's crazy. It certainly wouldn't be. Oddly, a big religious organization didn't pick that up. Why didn't the Catholic Church? That's interesting. I'm going to do our super chats, friends, and then I'm going to go do my thing. I've got lots of things to do, actually. I'm going to go work in the yard. First thing, got to do that every day. Sort of like John. So let me do my super chats. Thank you, those of you who support the channel. And that would be Mully Von Erich for £2 said, I thought about that too, about Al Jazeera. What I was talking about was I used to I still have wrong thinking about certain things. I do. I know I do. I need to learn more. But I used to be a lot worse. And when I was worse, when I first heard about Al Jazeera, I was very prejudiced. And just by the name alone, I didn't want anything to do with them. They were an unreliable source. And for the longest time, if somebody referenced them, I would then go, okay, you're not right either, you know, and then come to find out they're actually pretty good. Pretty good place. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. Thank you, Ryan, for being there. I hope Hubs is doing good. Ryan is off with her Hubs today. He's getting some kind of surgery, getting things cut upon him, and hopefully things are going to go well. I think you guys are wonderful. I very much appreciate you. Tomorrow's Wednesday, the day of Wednesday. I hope Kelly was still here. Maybe he'll be available. I just don't want to make him go out of his way to come on the show. But there's other people. I'm going to try to see if I can get some of Ryan. May even be back if everything is going okay. But we'll see what happens. Was there something? I think somebody went Wild Bill. I think John Hudson left. He doesn't want Wild Bill. He left. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and go. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you all for joining me. Sin safely, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. Finally, I am Wild Bill Wigglestick, and this is my trusty sidekick, Willie the Kid. And we'll be your handsome hosts, your gilded guide, your cowboys, concierges to Shakespeare. Oh, how cute. Wait, is that at 2, Ollie? Run along, little doggy. Bill, where the hell have you been? Well, you know, I've been roaming the earth, going back and forth upon it, to and fro and whatnot. Ah, I like to travel too. Wait a second. Yep, back and forth upon earth, doing unto others before they do unto me. Bill, are you quoting the Bible? Trying to quote the Bible? Indeed I am. Despite my appearance, I am a man of culture and know many things, not just Shakespeare. Really? So you have a Shakespeare monologue related to atheism or skepticism? Indeed I do. Bear witness. Oh, this is going to be good. This is the excellent foppery of the world, that when we are sick in fortune, often the product of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, and stars, as if we were villains on necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, knaves, thieves, and treacherous by spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers by an enforced obedience of planetary influence. And all that we are evil in by a divine thrusting on. An admirable evasion of whoremaster man to lay his goatish disposition to the charge of a star. My father compounded with my mother under the dragon's tail, and my nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows I am rough and lecherous. I should have been that I am, had the maidenliest star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing. Wow, that really is spot on about what we cover here on the channel, about how, people... So here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, this non-believer, ignores the teachings of his learned father and ends up getting 4 people killed. Bill, that's not... Okay. Carry on. Shakespeare was a heathenistic non-believer bound for the fiery pits of hell, just like yourselves. I don't think. And in order to throw the murderous church of the time off his heathen trail, he writes the skeptic as a sneaking, lying, adulterated father and brother, hating and betraying villain who ends up getting his comeuppance in the end. Bill, oh, come on, man. You're always blah, blah, Bible stuff, blah, blah, boring. You got to spice things up. Bill, tacos are spicy. Everybody loves tacos. Bill, tacos and boobies. Okay, you're not wrong there either. Tasty and delicious culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid the storm of familial discontent. Blow winds and clap your cheeks by clicking that subscribe button and hitting that. Wait a second. Don't you mean crack your cheeks? Nope. Bill. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Peace.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in who's your new best friend. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find